Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to another F1 Fantasy Weekly, where this is your place to get all your fancy knowledge and expertise from the world of F1. Expertise. We're going to keep pitching it because if they're new here, they don't realise that we're not experts yet.
Clever.
So we are definitely experts.
Clever.
Anyway, as usual, this is our F1 Fantasy Weekly podcast where we come to you every Wednesday giving the latest news and our thoughts on the F1 Fantasy game. This week we will be previewing the last race of 2019.
Sad times,
Abu Dhabi. And then a long winter break before a return in 2020, which will be a fantastic season, hopefully.
Yep.
And
well, it's like the pre-show to the 2021 season.
Yeah, it is. But it'll be all right. But right, so basically what we'll be doing in the F1 Fantasy Weekly podcast preview here is we will be giving you a quick rundown of what F1 Fantasy is. If you are new to the podcast, want to know what F1 Fantasy actually is, and then we will be giving our thoughts ahead of this week's race on who we think to choose, our kind of turbo drivers, and that will be rounding off because I think we've both decided I can't find a Kimi moment of the week this week, so no Kimi moment of the week.
Yeah.
Sad times.
No Kimi moment of the week.
Very sad.
Sad situation.
It is a sad situation, but for now, the F1 Fantasy game. So it is like every other sports fantasy game. You get a budget, and the budget is $100 million. And from that budget, you pick 5 drivers and 1 constructor, and they will score you points over the course of a race weekend. Sorry, that meow there was Tara in the background. If you watched our first ever episode of, first ever video on our channel, Tara was a main feature in that video.
I remember actually.
So she's now trying to make a comeback to the series after being dropped from it.
She's the host, everyone forgot.
Indeed. F1 Fantasy this week is we're looking ahead to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So Stephen, your thoughts? Who are your picks from the big teams to go for?
Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas. Actually, to be fair, Ferrari could turn up, but they've been a bit all over the place since USA. So it's difficult because it's like everything's sorted now. Verstappen's probably going to be pushing for 3rd, so Lewis or Verstappen as your top.
For me, I think if you've got the money, go Lewis Verstappen. But I think Verstappen-Bottas combo would be pretty good. Although the only thing that makes me sceptical of that, although this track has usually been strong for Mercedes, and obviously Hamilton winning again last year, Bottas did come 6th and had a very poor race. But he didn't have a particularly great season last year, and he's had a much better one this year.
Though he has been dodgy last couple of races.
Only the last race, the previous one.
Oh, sorry, he won. Yeah, he won USA, didn't he? Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah, got pole and won.
Yeah.
And then he won Sochi. Yeah, he had a good run and then blip in Brazil, but he's got to be a solid pick for.
I think so. I think a Bottas-Verstappen combo will be very solid going into it. And again, actually Alexander Albon for the first time was not a good pick out last time. Or picking the Red Bull team that could have had a 1-2 finish for you. And
already expressed my thoughts on the review of the Brazil Grand Prix.
Exactly. So yeah,
if you want to see a broken man, you can go watch that.
And he was broken. With Alexander Albon, I think he is still going to be a good pick this weekend.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that Ferraris may cause upsets.
Well, we know Playtech, Tommaso Playtech Super Life will be going Ferrari to try and gain some points. That would have I think his chances would have just gone last.
Because they still have the pace on the straights. It's
Yeah,
they've lost a bit of pace
came
on the corners.
Vettel came there second last year, and I think Kimi was showing good pace, but his car retired. He lost power last year, so it's a statement race. I feel Ferrari might be good because they might be wanting to make a statement for the 2020 season. So I think they'll be saying, we are serious, we've got it all together, we're going to be challenging next year.
Nothing to lose.
And if they finish the last race with a 1-2, that would be the best possible finish going into next year.
Yeah. Would that clinch? What is the third race place looking like? The race for third.
In the Fantasy League?
No, Drivers' Championships.
Leclerc's the closest. I think third is only between
there's 11
Leclerc
points,
and Max.
11 points.
Vettel's in.
It's going to be tough for Leclerc to overthrow, but he kind of needs to win.
Yeah.
To have a chance to come in third in the Drivers' Championship.
Exactly. So Leclerc needs to win.
Yeah.
And hope that something goes wrong with Verstappen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Vettel's out of it.
So they've technically got a lot to play for. Charles Leclerc, he's still fairly cheapish. Maybe Charles Leclerc over Valtteri Bottas could be a good shout.
Yeah, definitely. I just got a feeling about Ferraris.
Alright.
I feel that Abu Dhabi kind of suits him.
Yeah, there are a couple of big long straights in there which should have their power advantage. Yeah.
They have been underperformed. Well, no, they were well off the pace in Brazil, even before the crash. Well,
they were off.
Well off the paces.
In terms of their segments, Leclerc was off the pace, but he was obviously started further back at 14th and had worked his way back up quite well. And Vettel was off the pace from Hamilton and Verstappen.
Yeah.
He was just kind of chilling in third with no real drama until the safety car.
They were the fastest team in there.
Yeah, they were. So, out of the midfield teams, Brazil kind of threw a few things up in arms because we were like, it's the Holy Trinity, Sainz, Ricardo, Perez, they're all great picks. And, Albon in there to complete it. Well, Sainz and Ricardo were still great picks, but Kimi Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, they were also great picks. And obviously that man Pierre Gasly, which now is a head-to-head battle in the last race between
level on points.
Gasly and Sainz.
It's the most simple battle to understand because it's whoever finishes higher wins the battle for sixth.
Exactly.
Between Gasly and Sainz.
Yeah, because Albon realistically needs them to finish outside the points, doesn't he?
Albon.
He's 11 behind.
Yes, 11 behind.
He'd need to get on the podium.
Yeah.
And a high podium, probably.
Second, maybe.
Yeah. So
last lap spun out.
Yeah, I can't see it for me, Albon.
No.
So I'm going to go with that.
Although he may be he's going to be fired up for this last race.
He will be, after being frustrated.
That podium was stolen from him, and he's going to be fired up to get a podium in 2019.
Question is, Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly are going to be fighting, and for that pride position of 6th place, which would be an incredible achievement for either one of them.
Yeah.
Gasly more as a kind of stick 2 fingers up at Red Bull.
Yeah.
And Carlos Sainz because he's had a fantastic season. McLaren secured 4th in the Constructors. It would be good. Let's go from that. But would they collide? Could it overboil? Or do you just go back them to be driving each other on?
Neither of them strike me as particularly reckless drivers.
No.
You're going to push it.
So
I know Gasly had a few mistakes first half of the season.
Yeah.
Sainz doesn't.
So I'd be tempted to go Sainz.
Although Sainz does find trouble.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to go Sainz, Gasly, and Albon.
As your turbo picks.
Yeah.
Forget Ricardo.
Yeah, and also to bring them in as maybe my team from there.
Oh, wait, which team?
My fantasy team.
No. Oh, wait.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later on in the video. But Haas and Alpha Haas not necessarily, because their race pace again was still poor. But
Could have been great, but it was poor.
Yeah, but Alpha threw a curveball because I thought they were done, but showed although benefiting from, but they still showed pace. They beat.
Yeah, they benefited of safety cars, and then obviously the Ferraris giving them 2 free positions. But yeah, they still beat.
But they still finished ahead of the majority of the midfield pack. They finished behind.
What, 4th and 5th?
Only Gasly and Sainz.
Was it 4th and 5th?
Yeah, it was 4th and 5th. So maybe Gio or Kimi Raikkonen as an outside bet as a point scorer this weekend. But for me, I see a bit of normality returning, and I think Perez will score points, but he's used his streak now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So I think it's between Gasly, Sainz and Ricciardo still, probably, for those.
Yep.
2 of 3 of those positions.
I agree with all of those.
Yeah. Constructors, Mercedes are the safe bet.
Mercedes safe bet, Ferrari if you want to gamble.
Yeah.
Red Bull I won't, yeah.
Red Bull, I don't think they'll both
think
convincingly do well enough.
No.
No.
I don't think Albon will get paid even now. I want him to.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have the pace.
So yeah, I'd say between Mercedes and Ferrari.
Mercedes safe bet, Ferrari gamble.
Yeah, if you're in your leagues and you're needing to kind of overturn a bigger gap, I'd say double or quits and go for Ferrari.
Yeah.
If you're solidifying a position, definitely Mercedes.
Yeah.
And kind of push
They're
that
going to get you points.
Yeah. And that probably... Anything else really to talk about in the preview going ahead of the race?
Are we not picking?
Turbos.
Who are we not picking?
Who are we not picking? Oh, look, there we go. We usually do
Williams.
who will pick. Who will not pick. Williams.
Yeah.
And
Haas.
Yeah.
Just all 4 of those.
Yeah, Williams and Haas, no.
Haas, just the race pace isn't there. And the strategy calls weren't there in Brazil, and it just makes me go, there's no confidence.
Yeah. Daniel Kvyat, a no.
Kvyat, no.
Lance Stroll, no.
No. Hulkenberg?
Yeah, no.
Go out with a bang on his last race?
Yeah, no.
No.
I mean, considering Ricciardo finished 7th in the race, and Hulkenberg finished 12th, and then obviously penalties pushed him back to 15th. So Ricciardo finished 6th last race and Hulkenberg 15th. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to beat his teammate, so he's not going to get those bonus points. And he might get a points finish, but he's certainly not going to be one of the main points finishers. No. So yeah, those would be the guys that we would avoid. And now for our turbo pick of the week, we kind of have insinuated it a little bit. Play it safe, Alex Albon. Playing it a little bit bolder, Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly, yeah. I'd have to agree. I don't think I'd even... Maybe outside pick Norris? But yeah, I struggled in Brazil, but...
But Brazil's not a race he's done at, and obviously in F2...
Abu Dhabi's an easier track.
Abu Dhabi's an easier track, and also F2 he has driven there before.
He'll have the pace.
And McLaren might want to have a dominating finish. McLaren do well, it could easily be a 7th, 8th for McLaren or higher if big teams have retirements.
But maybe teammate Sainz I'd throw into that. Albon, Sainz and Gasly is probably my 3.
Any 3 of those I think would be very solid turbo picks.
Yeah.
I'd probably be tempted with Carlos Sainz because he's going to get I think he might out-qualify and out-finish Lando Norris.
If he survives the first lap, I think he'll have a good race.
Yeah. And he'll want to kind of have a good race after screwing that podium as well.
Yeah.
And overall, the McLaren is a better car, and that Renault is still a better engine than Honda. Honda did well because it was altitude again.
Yeah.
And they seem to have pace.
Yeah.
When altitude comes into effect, you look at Mexico, and you look at Austria.
Do you want to throw Ricardo into the mix then for Turbo?
Yes, because he will be wanting to make a statement for next year, and Renault themselves will be.
Yeah, he hasn't got much to race for. That's my only worry.
Well, he does, because in the constructors, Toro Rosso were just 8 points behind Renault with last week.
Yeah,
so
I guess.
It'd be an unlikely turnaround, but he's certainly got to do enough to perform. Because if they finish outside the points and Gasly has a good race,
yeah,
and finishes best of the rest, or even a double points finish with him and Kvyat, it would be very unlikely, but they could swing it round.
Yeah.
Perez, for once, I would say probably. I reckon he's going to finish in the points, but I don't think he's going to.
I haven't got that feeling for him.
He's not going to have a big points return.
No.
But yeah.
Yep.
There we go. That probably rounds up, and we'll just give you a quick look. Our teams. Steve, do you want to go first with your team?
Nope.
Well, that's good. We are both struggling up here. So what we do is we'll give you a quick run through of what we are going to do this weekend, explain why, and it might give you an idea of what you might want to do this weekend.
I'm there. I haven't made my changes though this week.
Either have I.
Well, I'll make my changes on. See, I always like to wait for practice to make my changes, but I'll talk you through what I have in mind. So my current team is Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, turboed, although I'm changing that to Sainz on the fly. Then Danny Rick and Lewis Hamilton. Red Bull is my team. I'm probably going to swap out Red Bull and go for Ferrari. I've got 4.7 mil in the bank. And then possibly take a -10 hit and go for Charles Leclerc over Verstappen. I'm going for the Ferrari gamble. Is probably my thinking.
Well,
because I've got ground to make up in the league.
That is
so
true.
I can't
and
go safe.
You've got to hope to go for a big win and hope that Death Eaters does badly to then secure third.
Yeah.
For me, I have gone with Charles Leclerc. I brought him in for Valtteri Bottas.
So, yeah.
Just on last year's form, and Mercedes never tend to do particularly well. They might by default fall into a good position if other teams ahead of them muck up, but I think Ferrari and Red Bull have something to prove where Mercedes don't necessarily.
And Toto will be back, will he?
I think so, yeah. I believe so. I think he was only really avoiding Brazil because he was going to be at the Formula E. We was at the Formula E last weekend overseeing Mercedes' first stint in there, which they didn't actually do too badly. Double podium for Stoffel Van Dorn was pretty impressive. But yes, Max Verstappen in there as well. So I've gone Charles Leclerc and Max. I'm backing them. Double Red Bull with Alexander Albon in there as well.
Jeez.
Although I might take a -10 hit and bring in Pierre Gasly.
For Albon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny Rick is going to be other driver. Carlos Sainz is my turbo for this week, and then Mercedes as my constructor. So yeah, a pretty safe team.
Yeah.
It's whether gambling on the -10 and going, but Pierre Gasly, would he realistically overturn the points that Albon would get?
Will he finish above Albon? Probably not.
Yeah, you see, and
no
unless Albon, exactly. So it's probably that. Maybe Danny Ricciardo could
How
be
much
one,
money
but
you got?
I've got 1.2 million.
You haven't got much to pay for.
No.
Because you can't really do much with Verstappen.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Unless you went boss, but no.
I've just taken Bottas out.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't go from that. But there you go, guys. There is our teams and our thoughts ahead of this week's race at Abu Dhabi. Are looking forward to the last race season. I know Abu Dhabi has not the greatest reputation for in terms of the racing it produces, but I think there are still a lot of interesting things to play for, and it could still be an exciting race. especially some inter-team battles and some things to kind of get decided. And like we said, it's almost like a pre-run for 2020 of going, this is our last shot before development kicks in. And with the rule regulations not changing next year, a lot of them might be even bringing in some 2020 stuff.
Yeah, I think Mercedes are.
Well, Mercedes and Ferrari already have, and Williams have been trialling through it, a new front wing. You never know. They've done a lot of research into it. We'll see, and we'll go from there. But yes, guys, that is it. If you have liked the video, don't forget you can give it a thumbs up. What should they comment on down below, Stephen?
Who will win, Gasly or Sainz?
That is a very good one to go. Who will be the best turbo of the week? Also comment on that. Will it be Albon, Sainz or Gasly, or someone else if you think differently? Katie, don't say K-Mag. But yes, that is it, guys. And if you are new around here, don't forget you can subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification. We go even through the close season. We will be going out every Wednesday with F1 Fantasy Weekly. We've got lots of content for you guys over there, including kind of season reviews and also looking ahead to next season with F1 Fantasy Weekly. So yeah, we'll be excited and looking forward to that, guys. But for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.